Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this lunchtime session today. My name is Paul McEntee, and this will be about cycling and tourism. So, first of all, I'd like to give you just a little background on my connection to cycling. So, I just came up very quickly with some key words, and I first started enjoying and getting into cycling as a teenager in the UK, in the countryside, and it was the best way to get around living in such a remote area. I can remember my first BMX, and after that, I was hooked. It wasn't until I came to Japan that I became interested in cycling again, and I felt it was a very unique way to see Japan's unique prefectures and countryside. I also really loved the distinct seasons in Japan, and every season is very nice to go out into your local areas on a bike or even further afield. Even in the summertime, it's a great time to bicycle. Um, Also, chose to get back into cycling in Japan because I didn't want to take the trains anymore, and it became a lifestyle change. I cycled to work, commuted to the office. I found that with age as well, it became a health choice, and it's good to get a little bit of exercise every day. I had lots of really great experiences by cycling, meeting new people, and traveling all over this country. And also, I became interested in cycle geography, which is using a bike to understand your area where you live. Let's move on to a little background of cycling and society. During the early days of cycling, about 200 years ago, bicycles looked like this. The first bicycle was called the Dreizehn. Probably this is the first bicycle. It doesn't look very comfortable, does it? Please remember this. This is called the Dreizehn. You'll need this information for later. Another very popular bicycle in the 1880s was called the Bone Shaker, and it looked like this. In fact, this was a fashion item in those days. It was mass produced in Europe and exported all over the world, and it became very popular in Japan. But not in America. Ouch. It was called the Bone Shaker for a reason. The roads were too bumpy in the US, and it was very painful to ride. So not many people bought it. But cycling grew in popularity in America in the late 19th century. The first real bicycle was unimaginatively called the safety bicycle. And I think you can see it looks like a modern bicycle. This was really important because it became everyday transport, not only for men, but importantly for women too. And it gave people, especially women, more social mobility. People were able to get out and travel around their areas and their cities more. So these were the first bicycles. If we move on to the 20th century and after the war, there was, of course, an economic downturn. So cheap holidays were popular, and cycle touring was very popular amongst young people. However, When the economy grew, there was a boom in the car industry and therefore a decline in cycling. In the 70s and 80s, there was a renaissance. Cycling came back. BMXing, road cycling, mountain biking, cycling for fitness. The reach of cycling grew. So in the 1990s, it became more mainstream cycling for everyone. And in terms of sport, it became more mainstream. The Tour de France was a globally popular sport. Many people tuned in on the TV to watch the races. However, with that, there were many controversies and doping scandals, and this impacted negatively on cycling, but it also changed sport as a whole, with stricter doping rules applied to all types of sports. And now in modern times, bicycles are for everyone. There's a range of styles, a crossover between fashion and cycling. Cities are friendly towards bikes. It's less niche and more mainstream. Okay, so how about we move on to cycling and tourism? The journey really is the destination. Getting there is the fun part. Around the block, how well do you know your local area? By getting on your bike and exploring your local neighborhood, you can find some new things you never knew existed. These are just some things I found out about my local neighborhood through using my bike. You might be familiar with this one. I found this ice cream shop, and it was about 2 kilometers from where I used to live in Kamiari. I never knew it was there. And it was a hot day that day. So I helped myself to some delicious ice cream, and I went back many times afterwards. Just here is a dairy farm in Oizumi Gakuen, where I live now. Again, I never knew this existed. And if I didn't cycle around, I probably would have never known. Again, I bought some more ice cream. I didn't know that. About 1 kilometre from where I live, I found a blueberry farm. And once again, the common theme here is that unless I hadn't used my bike and got out and explored where I live easily and quickly, I just wouldn't know they existed. I talked to the farm manager, and he invited me to come and pick some blueberries, and I took my daughter, and she picked 2 kilograms of them. Just by chance, you can find interesting things. Cycle around without a plan and stumble upon cool things. And I found this great supercento. It's huge, and it's not far from my house. I had never seen an advertisement. I didn't know it was there. And now as the winter comes, me and my family, we will probably go more often. So to take away from this is that get to know your local area a bit more. People, cafes, restaurants, shops, or interesting things. Taking day trips. Get out into the neighbouring prefectures. I'd like to explain 2 prefectures to you from my own experiences. And these prefectures are always ranked very low on the attractiveness rankings. So let's promote them, and let's find the good points. And you will be able to if you cycle through these places. First of all, let's look at Saitama. ranked 41st. The following is a video I made from Kumagaya to Kawagoe quite recently. So please enjoy the video and I'll give you a little narration over the top. So here is the video. Let's play and listen and watch. So in the background you can see the mountains of Chichibu, and here is the cycle path we started on. A man of senior age, he was faster than me, and here is the cycle path, and that's me down there. You can see on the right side the Arakawa, and in the background that's Kumagaya. You can see how wide it is, how clear it is, and as I cycled down the path, I saw a one-man helicopter in someone's garden. You get to see all kinds of strange things. Here is a big aerial shot, and these cycle paths continue all the way to Tokyo Bay. If you have the energy, you can cycle over 80 kilometers. As the season changes, so does the nature, and some very Star Wars looking type buildings, and sometimes you get lost. As I left the cycle path, I headed inland through small picturesque Saitama villages with lots of solar panels, and many houses seem to have that in these small villages. Cycling through rice fields, I'm sure you can imagine the different shades of green, especially in the rainy season and the summertime, very luscious and green, and very beautiful. And final destination, Kawagoe. A busy street. The shopping street is far from the station. Many things to see and do and eat. Oh look, there's more ice cream. A fantastic way to get somewhere. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so let's continue with the next prefecture I'd like to explore, which is Ibaraki. Unfortunately ranked 45th and sometimes 47th. But it's a wonderful place. Let's consider the Rinrin Road, or the Rinrin Road. It's a cycle path. Here's the map. It's just an hour from Tokyo to Tsuchiura where you can start. We can start further north at Iwasa Station. As you can see, you can cycle around Kasumigura and down past Mount Tsukuba on an old train line. So you can cycle around the lake. This picture was taken on a very cold but very still day, unusual. It's usually very windy there. And the sakura, the cherry blossoms, fall just south of Tsukuba area. And so many of them. It's very beautiful. Also, if you want to stay over and you're tired, then you can stay at the Hoshino Resort. They have created a cycle hotel at Tsuchiura Station. A little bit of luxury for an affordable price. Highly recommended. So not only is the Rinrin Road a great place to start and go, there are so many other places that you can venture off into Ibaraki too. So let's move on to further afield. Touring. Rural tourism, rural cycling. Go for a week or a few days. You can combine your travels with trains, boats, or even post your bike or whatever by a takubin. The options are endless in Japan. It's such a convenient, as the transportation system is very convenient and organized, as you know. You can take the Sunrise Express sleeper train on the way home or going to somewhere. Izumo, Kagawa, Hiroshima, your choice. Or simply pack your bike and put it on a Shinkansen and go somewhere very far and use that as a start point. You may even want to take a boat and take a slow cruise. Lock your cycles. You can take a cheaper room like this and share with other people. Hopefully, they won't snore when you sleep. But Japan is linked by so many ferries, and you can really enjoy the travel. And when you get there, you can easily begin your cycling journey. You may even want to takubin, courier, post it. In fact, I do this with my kayak. I cycle to a river I want to kayak. I send my kayak by post to a convenience store nearby and pick it up, send my bike back, and then begin the kayaking. This is the Shimanto River, where I cycled from the source, the start point, to the ocean at Shimanto. So you can make everything very easy. Also, you can have a different method, which is just to tour. Cycle and camp without much of a plan. Take a few days away. Get to places not easily accessible by public transport. That's the point. I couldn't take this picture of a beautiful river in Kochiken if I went there by bus or somehow found a train station nearby. It would be impossible. You can plan in advance potential places to camp. You can even camp by the side of the river sometimes. It's totally okay. Just possibly do a little research, but keep it free-flowing and make your choices on the way. As you know, there's always some amenities nearby. There's a drinks machine or maybe a small village shop, a conveni. There's always something not too far away. Take your time and explore. Okay, so that concludes looking at some ways to tour using a bicycle. Let's move on to this part, which is about lifestyle, making good, healthy changes in our lives. Of course, if we make cycling a part of our lifestyle, it positively affects our health. It's a daily workout. It's moderate, medium exercise. It can be vigorous and tough if you wish. Combine with your commute to university, even to the station if it's 2 kilometers or so. Stretch, do yoga as well. I used to, I should do more. I think it also affects our mental well-being, our general well-being. Isn't it nice just to feel the sunshine, not to be stuck inside, get some natural vitamin D, breathe fresh air if part of your commute is in the countryside. I think it's impactful on your mental well-being as well. And I think it instills a kind of can-do attitude. Nothing's too difficult if you have the power to get out on your bicycle in a cold day and get to school on time. Of course, the most important thing, though, connected to health is your safety. The famous rule is be aware, be seen, and be safe. Wear shocking pink clothes. Be visible. Be seen. Keep your eyes open. Don't play with your smartphone when you're cycling. Generally have a feeling of be confident, but be safe. And wear a helmet at all times. Okay, the final point I'd like to, no, the second point I'd like to make is it's for everyone. You might think that this is something for the boys, but it's not. It's attitudes towards cycling are changing, and millions of women are getting involved with cycling now. Fashion has been developed for ladies and cycling, and it's kind of cool in the UK for where I come from, the UK, for women to cycle. There was a really big rise in participation during these COVID lockdowns. Japan has a very high rate of women cyclists, but it's mostly for Mama Charlie business, going to the store or dropping the children at the schools. The next step is to encourage more women to take up cycling as a commute or as a leisure activity. There's an increased amount of bicycles for both genders now, or whatever style you would like. And an issue amongst many women cyclists was safety on the roads. And I think we're seeing more designated cycle lanes now, especially in Tokyo, the blue paths on the road. So girls, get involved with cycling. It's not just for the boys. Okay, finally, sustainability. I thought about this, and I thought that my feelings here cover these points. Cycling really causes virtually no environmental damage. It's hard to think that it can. It promotes health through physical activity. Cycling takes up very small space to park bikes and to use them. It's economical, both in user cost and in the public infrastructure, compared with traditional forms of transport, right? In short, cycling is environmentally, socially, and economically sustainable. Okay, and that pretty much concludes many points today. I'd just like to have a little quiz with you. Can you guys take a guess, please? Question 1. How many bikes are made every year? A, B, or C? And the answer is 100 million. Wow, that's surprising, isn't it? 100 million bikes every year. Question 2. The biggest bicycle, the longest, 5, 35, 200 seats? The answer is, look at that, 35 seats. I guess one person here is not pedalling. Question 3. Which country has the most cyclists? The Netherlands, Holland, the UK, or China? Per capita to the population. It is Holland, the Netherlands. By far the world's number 1 leading country for cycling. Okay, and that pretty much concludes my talk today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've gotten some information that might make you want to get involved with cycling for all the reasons I've mentioned, not only from a tourism point of view and a holiday making or a leisure point of view, but from a health and a well-being point of view as well. I'm happy to talk with you anytime around campus if you have any questions or you might want to buy a bike. But anyway, so I hope you all enjoyed it today. Here are some ideas connected to what we've talked about today. First of all, you might want to write about how cycling might improve your lifestyle from a health point of view or getting to know your community perspective. You might be interested in cycle geography and understanding our geography by using a bicycle. Maybe you can write this keyword into Google and do a little background research on this. Also, it might be a really good idea to write about the potential for cycle tourism domestically or even internationally. How easy is it to travel to different countries with a bicycle or even hire a bicycle when you're there? This might be of interest to you. And finally, cycle tourism during and post COVID pandemic. How do you feel about this as a safer option to travel around the country or abroad even? Here are just some ideas that you can think about and you can write about and give to your teachers. So that concludes today's lunchtime session. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. I hope you picked up some information that was of interest to you, and get involved with cycling. Get a bicycle. Even your old Mama Charlie is fine. Get out there, be active, but be safe, be seen, and be aware. Thank you very much for coming today, everyone. Have a nice week. Have a nice rest of the semester, and I look forward to seeing you on campus. Have a nice day. See you later. Bye. Thank you.